Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Gundam Explain Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue. Joining me is Steven of Midnight Hatter. And Steven, cool shirt tonight. I'm always
Hey,
calling
thank
out
you.
the shirts.
Yeah, absolutely. This one was a gift from the wife, so
Oh,
obviously
good
she
choice.
she knows me all too well.
And of course, your accessory that you got there with you that I
Yeah,
guess just,
Sammy's got to come in and hop on the mic. It's so funny because you just mentioned about Zelda hopping in frame on the show last night.
yep. I know it's like they want to be part of the conversation. They're
They
seeing
do.
that talking. They're like, oh, what are they talking about?
And like we've been sitting here talking for about 15 minutes and he wanted nothing to do with me. But then as soon as the stream starts, he's like, "Oh, we're going live."
Yep,
What?
exactly. So I'm gonna test something out here real quick. If I click the button. No, sorry guys. I was
Mm,
hoping to get the chat on screen up. But yeah, I'll get it down soon. But anyway, no, we're gonna have a good show tonight, just because there's been some interesting news that have come out on the Gundam movie, and it's up in the air what's really real, and all that stuff. We'll get into that, but it's fun to speculate, and it's kind of fun to learn about some of these people I have never heard of before until this announcement, and they seem to be pretty cool looking at their credits and everything. And so yeah, it's very interesting. Um, and then I think that's going to be the majority of the show. There's going to be other stuff we're going to talk about. And, at the beginning of the show, we're always doing our banter like yesterday, your show. So if people want to go check that out, if they haven't, we had a lot of
Yeah,
fun
SD
yesterday.
Spectacular.
Yep.
Because obviously yesterday you covered Super Robot Wars Y on your
Oh, yeah.
video,
That's
and
right.
then we were talking about SD Eternal
Oh,
on
yeah.
my show. So again, it's funny because you and I will talk endlessly about how much we hate SD stuff, and then it's like, what are our favorite games? Like Battle Alliance and
I know. I know. It's just that you can't help it. It's so funny how much stuff is just SD. That's just how it is.
right.
Um, Yeah, yeah, but that was pretty fun because there's no other way I would be caught up with Eternal if it wasn't for you actually covering it. I mean, really, I'm learning, and I don't play it a whole lot. In fact, like I do every once in a while, and if anyone's ever interested in that, on my Blue Gamer channel when I stream in the morning, I was talking about it a little bit because uh I'll show off there's this website exophase.com where you can have your gaming accounts linked. It's really cool to see what
All of
games
your
you've been playing.
achievements and everything all in one
Yeah.
place. Yeah,
And I was showing it off, and then it's really neat that SD Eternal shows up as a played game that you can link your Google account.
that
So
is
it's just
so
kind of
cool.
fun to go through that. It's like a playlist of
Nothing
music
for us
too.
Apple guys.
What's that?
Nothing for us Apple guys, right?
Okay, so there is a way, but
There is, okay.
I can't get it to work for me. But
Maybe
apparently some
I'll give it
people
a
can.
shot.
Yeah.
I created an Exophase account after you, mentioned it to me, so
Oh, okay.
I'll
Yeah,
give
then
it a
yeah,
shot.
go back and check the forums, because I think my problem is I have an Apple TV, but I don't have any other Apple device. And so
Mm,
it required to do certain functions in Game Center, although I think that's being changed anyway. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, oh yeah, and you know what? There is an SD game thing we'll talk about, but that'll be a little later. That'll be a little later, but that's good that we mentioned
teaser.
that. But yeah, good show yesterday over there. And then yeah, Super Robot Wars Y review. And then there was, oh yeah, the chair video. So, and I bought a pillow to match it.
Oh,
But
excellent.
yeah,
You need a
but yeah.
Haro pillow.
Oh yeah, you know what? That would be
That
perfect.
would
I
be the
got
way
the
to
plush, it just wouldn't stick. But no, it's just neat. Is well, is it neat? Like I bought this chair when at a time where I was like, really focused on the job I had. Like I was like, okay, this is a good career. I'm gonna kind of invest. I'll get this chair. And it's been a pretty good chair. There's been some weird things about it, and it's been slowly breaking apart over the years.
Mhm.
And it's like, man, that probably just happens. But then like, but it's like, do I really want to spend that much on another one? It's almost like sunglasses. Like I'll get a good pair, lose them, and be like, okay, this time do I just buy some cheap ones, or do I get, and all that. So
That is a perfect comparison because,
uh,
office chairs are one of those investments where it's like, sometimes you can buy the $30 chair and it lasts you for 10 years, or you can buy
Yeah.
like the $300 chair and it's the most like insanely comfortable thing. It's got the lumbar support, it's got adjustable armrests, it's got all the bells and whistles. But like you said, comes apart in like 2 to 3 years, and then you're sitting there thinking like, what, you know, because to this day, I have, like you said, I've bought nice sunglasses in the past, but the
Yeah.
best sunglasses I ever got were an $18 pair that I picked up at a moonshine distillery, like while I was on vacation, just because I needed something right away.
Yeah, that's a good example. And then it's like it's so unique, and it has that kind of like, and I've had that happen too. And I forget, I just remember it was a gas station. I
Yeah.
got these aviators, and I was like, man,
And isn't it funny? Like you and I've talked about this before, how sometimes you start associating a memory of something to like something arbitrary, like yeah, it's like when I mentioned, like, the ham on toast while I was watching
oh
Gigantor.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you create these sensory memories that are interlinked with one another, and so, like I said, I bought this pair of sunglasses while I was vacationing, and that memory sticks with me more than any other, like, if I've dropped $200 on, like, a pair of Oakleys or something like that, I don't remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That is very interesting. I'm trying to think. Like, I do have, yeah, a pair of Ray Bans. Like, not like they're super expensive. I think, but 80, and that
Th
to
that
me
that's
is
a
kind of
lot.
expensive. And I've had them, which is pretty good. It's like it's actually been a few years. But yeah, there's something else I want to say that I was also anyway. Let's just to get to it. I bought the covers. I decided to spend the money on it. Because I was like, do I get a new chair? I'll buy the covers. Kind of expensive at 100, but still cheaper than buying like a new nice chair. And I didn't want to throw it out either.
I was gonna say that, the Gundam specific chairs, those are like $300 to $500, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
So
and it's like this
happy
chair
medium.
is functional still. It has that, and I want to have it longer.
Yeah.
It's funny that did remind me that there was a chair I had for a very long time, even after I wasn't even living with my parents anymore. There was a chair that my dad had used, and he just was giving it to me. And then I remember I had it for a while and through different apartments. I remember it, and it was it was plastic and fabric, but the plastic was like an industrial. I don't know how to explain it. Really thick industrial plastic, the kind of like where you could probably dent it if you hit it a lot, and it'd be like little white marks. I don't know how to explain, but um,
Hmm.
they don't make them like that anymore. And
No,
I guess what I'm
they don't
getting
make
at.
anything like they used to anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially like on Amazon, sometimes if you are trying to get maybe like a little end table or something to put there, and then you get it and it looks like it's for your action figures, and it's like, well, yeah, that happens. Um, Speaking of action figures, so check this out. I forgot, did I show this yesterday on your stream? Sometimes.
No.
Okay, so this is a new Marvel Legends Wolverine from Marvel vs. Capcom. It came in a 2-pack with Silver Surfer, and to be honest, I kind of don't care. But this is the only way to get this, and I like collecting this. Jim Lee style Wolverine is my favorites.
Huge claws.
Yeah, yeah, I love it, and it comes with effect parts from the game, but the articulation is amazing. I would love to do like a Robot Spirit style review. Actually, Ian and I have been doing some videos, and yeah, maybe I need to do that there. But anyway, yeah, the claws, the articulation, and the claws have a slight give to them, so you can like position them dynamically.
Okay. Well,
It's
that's good.
amazing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I would be worried about those snapping off, you know?
Yeah. Um, Oh, Ultram's the saying why Silver Surfer. Did I say Silver Surfer? I meant to say Silver Samurai. If I said
Oh,
Silver
yeah.
Surfer, yeah, Silver Samurai. And I kind of again, like, I don't have any association with the character. I know that's someone Wolverine found. I know he's in Marvel vs. Capcom, but not. this,
The fact that you couldn't remember his name probably says more
yeah,
about it.
that's funny. Yeah,
Well, and
that's true.
it's surprising because isn't Omega Red in Marvel versus
Yeah,
Capcom?
and they do have
Omega
a
Red
two
is
pack.
so much cooler.
No, they do have a two pack with him, and you're
Okay.
right, he is. But I think I forget what two pack. There's one with Psylocke, and I really wanted Psylocke because I like Psylocke.
Yeah.
And then there's some other ones like Iron Man, Captain America, or something that I. Oh, and they had the green squid looking guy with the eye. They made it like exclusive for the line instead of
Nice.
yeah. So,
Huh.
yeah, it's cool stuff. I mean, yeah, that's not the Gundam type of action figure stuff, but I did build the minis.
Hey,
Just
sweet.
just got to get around to painting them, but I feel like that is going to be fun because they are so small
Yeah.
that's like not a long commitment type project. It so to speak, just because it's very small that you're working with,
And they're very detailed. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they look great. Like, it's funny though because I pictured them to be so much larger. But I think I did that even with the Warhammer figurines because when I went to the Warhammer store and I was looking to buy just to have some, I
Yeah.
noticed they look pretty small, and I was like, "Oh," but
Yeah, the scale on them is pretty small. And what's interesting is like so these yeah, these Gundam assemble figures are about 5 centimeters tall. But technically they're still in scale with like the Gundam Artifact line, which is interesting. The Gundam
oh,
Artifact line, however, is 6 centimeters tall, and that extra centimeter makes all the difference because the Gundam Artifact figures are much large. Like,
okay,
they look much larger than this. They
yeah,
look much more imposing than this little guy, right?
yeah. And I wonder if it has to do with the stylization, maybe. That it sort of has, even though it's a really cool look.
It is, yeah.
But opposite size is this G-Quux figure that
Massive G-Quux.
yeah, and it's such a nice plastic material. I don't know how to explain it, but this was at that Japanese Miniso store
It
that's
looks
near
like a
me.
1/12 scale, like, doll.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not actually painted 100% accurately. There's a lot of areas they missed that I could paint in detail, but it has a very nice finish on it where it's like almost like as it is, this is just a really nice thing. And when I would search and buy like import Gundam toys, from Japan, I would always come across these. They're like Ban Presto. It's like
Yeah,
a figurine. Sometimes it's referred to as a prize, I think, or
yeah.
something. But I will see those and be like, well, it doesn't move. I wouldn't care to have that. But having this in hand, and it was $25, which I thought when I saw the size of the box, because I was like, oh, 25, this is pretty big. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm impressed. I would get more of these, but that's too big, maybe. That's uh, uh,
It's
not
just
not.
not in scale with everything else that you have, so
Yeah,
the
exactly. What would I be doing? No, no, that's pretty cool. Okay, and here's something else because was that the store? No, yeah, we were at a different mall where that Miniso was. And while we were there, they also had the Gachapon store. So both malls near me both have the Gachapon store and the Miniso.
nice.
The weird thing about the one of the malls, the Gachapon store there, the Northeast Mall, is they had paper taped over the pricing of the machine to get the tokens, and it was like $5 for 3 tokens instead of $5 for 4 tokens or something like that. Like
Mm,
it was it didn't get
inflation
it.
strikes.
Well, and I thought that was very odd, and because I was just at the other store, just the week before, I believe, because we like to walk around the mall on the weekend as a way to walk and stuff. But
But the machines still take 8, don't they? Like,
yeah, so that's right. It will.
so so
So it's still
now
4 for like one of the mobile suit ensemble. But if I pay 5 and I only get 3 or something, yeah. And it because the one at the Grapevine Mills Mall, I just pay 10 and I get 5.
right.
Um, yeah, and
Huh.
and so it's like it doesn't make sense. So that's right, because we had to spend $15 because my wife saw some things she wanted that might have not been at the other one. That's the other thing. This was much larger and it
Okay.
had more. It was pretty crazy. I hadn't seen one that big.
Well, you can afford
But
more machines when you're stiffing people on tokens.
yeah, I guess so. Very interesting. It was very interesting. But anyway, and it's funny because why I was reminded of that is in my head now I have some extra Gashapon tokens. The
Nice.
from that I have enough now for one Mobile Suit Ensemble.
There you go. Well,
Because
and so I tagged you on Twitter earlier because I
yeah,
saw that they announced what is it, Series 13 of the ensemble figures is getting a reprint.
yeah,
Um,
the Sentinel.
Man, if you got your hands on one of those S Gundams, that thing looks massive.
Yeah, I know. Those they're awesome. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad they do the reprints because I've been able to get some due to that. But yeah, so now I have enough to go get one. It's just and I don't know if it's me or I it seems like it's expensive. And maybe the other part is I'm always going to the Gundam stuff. What if I went and checked out like the non-IP stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like kind of a way of like getting people to spend their last few tokens, right? So like you said, if it costs 4 tokens for
Yeah,
a
Mobile
Gundam
Suit
ensemble
Ensemble.
figure,
Yeah.
maybe you get 15 tokens, which gets you 3 ensemble figures, and then you got a handful of tokens left over that like, well, I guess I'll throw it away on this
Yeah.
other thing.
Yeah, and so I'll be going back in to get one. So it's just I don't know if I'm being selfish and feeling it's expensive, or is that very reasonable to get these figurines? I don't know. You know.
It's hard to tell, man. Like sometimes, like I look at like the G frame line,
Oh
because
yeah,
I love that line just
yeah, me
because
too.
it's at least the posable frame version, because
Yeah,
obviously they have like the standard frame, and then they have like you can clip the armor parts onto the movable frame.
yeah.
But those resell for like $70 a piece. Like they're insane.
Wow, it's crazy because I had that time when I was with the Bandai Champions, and we went. I brought mine that I had that I painted and gave them each them. So I gave them away. I didn't know they were going up in value like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still have I have a high new. What and I think I might have some more. Do you have any?
No, I haven't gotten any. But I'm always on the lookout for a Zeta.
Oh, okay. I want to say there is a 3-pack. No, or is it a 4-pack? It's something I saw that comes with the flying armor.
Yeah, I think there is like
Hmm.
a,
Yeah,
a combo pack, something like that.
just somehow I feel like just having an articulated Zeta figure at a smaller scale would be pretty fun, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of like my 1/200 scale HCM Pro. So
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that the other day because sometimes I'll look at prices of a certain few Zeta and UC units or early UC units, and sometimes you'll find a really good one, a good price. Like that's how I got the GM Sniper, but the HCM Pro, I got, and it transforms.
it does, yeah.
And how do you rate the transformation? Actually, that would be interesting.
It's one of the better ones for sure.
Oh,
I
cool.
will say that over time the joints have gotten a little loose on it, so it's you know.
Hmm. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have the Titans Mark II also. Let me see.
Oh, that's I have that one as well. That one's
Oh,
fantastic.
sweet. Oh, that's
Does
cool.
So this is interesting. What number does yours have on the shoulder?
All right, it might have come with others, but it has. I put 3 on it, or it has 3.
Okay. So yeah, mine says 3 as well. So I'm wondering if
Okay.
it just comes standard.
I wonder. I
Yeah.
wonder because I know there's a bunch of accessories with it. Yeah, these are cool figures, man. This is my type. Yeah, so I do wish they came out with more like, and it could be used for miniatures.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a cool miniature to use in a game.
Which, again, it's one of those things where it's like, so this is 1/200 scale, and yet
That's cool.
this is 1/200 scale. Like scale
Oh, Yeah, that's weird.
Like what?
So in the official information of each thing, they're denoted as 1/200 scale.
At least that's what I saw. And maybe I'm reading it wrong. So correct me
No,
in chat if
I've seen that happen before,
because
where
yeah,
yeah,
like
scale just
they
doesn't make
get kind of
sense.
loosey goosey with
Yeah,
scale.
yeah, that was I forget what it was I was collecting, or some what are they called? They make Street Fighter action figures. They make SNK action Storm collectibles. Their 1/12 scale is actually larger, like way larger. And I would show an example, but I have them. But then they started to come out with newer figures that are cheaper, that are proper. So it's very interesting. Yeah, there's Street Fighter Storm Arena or something. Very interesting how that works.
Oh,
Oh yeah, something else. My wife actually got this herself from the gastropon. And this wasn't at the other one, and it
that's
was
cool.
yeah. Um, yeah. So,
I like
okay.
that a lot.
I think that's all for the goodies.
I know
But
so many
oh,
collectibles and
what's
things
up?
to so many collectibles and
I
things
know
to
it's fun. I love that stuff. But you know what I noticed? I've been doing this here and there. I tend to uh, through the months or whatever. I have a box that I'll throw the stuff into, and uh, like it's like okay, I'm running out of space. I'll just kind of throw these little things, that I've been gathering. And, yeah, sometimes it'll come to a point where it's like I'll give them away or, um yeah, so I just realized I've started doing that already. I have a box down here that earlier I was like, putting some stuff in there. And so sometimes
yeah.
I think, "Man, should I just not pick up these things just because I see them?" It's like, "Oh, I can make content, but it's fun, but yeah, I don't know."
That's thinking silly. Come on now.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. What is a Gundam fan other than a hoarder? No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
No,
No, those little 1/400th scale figures, like the ones that I basically have been using for tabletop gaming, like those make fantastic little giveaways. And so like every time I
oh,
do
yeah.
like a little like bonus box or giveaway type thing, I usually throw one or two of those in. Um,
I have a Zeta and Mark II I got from you that I have on my
hey,
shelf.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think you have some more coming your way, but that's
Ooh, okay.
well, I say
Awesome.
cryptically.
Okay, that's exciting. Okay. I think that's it for all that kind of fun nonsense talk. Let's get into a very fun discussion. That's the Gundam live action movie. A lot of the idea of a live action Gundam movie is why I made this channel. So,
True.
let's start with, and I'm going to change the screen here. Um, this, oh, you know what? I should have brought the article up. Actually, I bet if I go to news, yeah, Nexus Point News. Never heard of Nexus Point News.
Mm,
Exclusive. Drew Starkey is in talks to lead Gundam alongside Sydney Sweeney. And
there you
then
go.
sources tell Nexus Point News. And it's like,
Okay.
tell, oh yeah, exactly. Okay, what source? And so sources point, and then I was going through this and I'm like, there was really
Nothing substantial.
nothing at all. And I'm like, well, why would this be? Let's see what who this guy is. So we search and I noticed right away my brain was already mapping it out for me. So once I saw him, it's like, oh, Shar. Okay. Okay. If Benson Boone, which we'll get to in a second, is Amuro,
Yeah.
then this guy would be Shar. And lead makes sense. It's okay. The cat is attached to me. She did not allow me to lift her.
Yeah.
Wow, she got
Claw
excited about this one.
claws deployed.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and
Um,
so my wife's a huge fan of that show, Outer Banks, so I'm gonna have to talk to her about that and be like,
oh,
is this guy any good? Like, you know.
yeah, and so that could be my bad of not knowing who he is because I haven't seen any of this stuff. That's pretty cool that your wife has seen a show
Dude,
that he's in.
I'm not gonna say I called it because missed the mark on all of the actors so far, but like I will say that I did suspect that for the Gundam movie they weren't gonna be going with like uh, Nick Offerman as Rambaral or all
Oh
of
yeah,
like
yeah,
the fan casty type stuff.
yeah.
They're going with like Netflix level actors because that's the caliber that I think Gundam can aspire to.
Yeah, I mean, because I wonder how much Sydney Sweeney would cost, like, or and
Yeah.
how they're aligning this, because it really does seem like it's three leads. They've been treated, all these announcements, Benson, Sweeney, Drew Starkey, have all been treated as leads, in the rumor. So this was interesting, and like, this picture has more Char energy, I
Yeah.
think, but so this Benson Boone was another one. Now the reporting was from Jeff Snyder, and he's an insider, but
And
his thing is called In Snyder. He has a newsletter, In Snyder, and he covers, like, he gets information, right? Sometimes things change, and he's really good at letting you know that, like, hey, here's what. And sometimes things change, but that could still help you get an understanding of then where things may be going. So he,
he does have a good track record
yeah,
of, yeah.
because he did, um uh, break the thing of Sydney Sweeney, and then you reminded me of that interview I had posted with Jim Mickle confirming Sydney Sweeney. So
Yeah.
we know that that has been confirmed, like, 100%. And so if he's also saying Benson Boone, it's like, oh, okay, then it's probably true too. So then we looked this guy up, and on the thumbnail, there's a picture of him without a mustache. There's some that he looks, super, super young, which maybe,
I
they're
mean,
going for that
he
on
is
purpose.
super young. He's
He is.
23. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I wouldn't think they are hiring to use him for the mustache.
I would
You know,
hope not.
right. So that would lead me to believe this is a good Amuro Ray. So for Sydney Sweeney to be Sayla and Drew Starkey to be Shar Aznable, and then we have Benson Boone for Amuro Ray.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
this is all speculation because they haven't even said who Sydney Sweeney's going to be.
We don't
Eh,
even know if it's going to be UC or
So that is the next thing we have to dive into to find out. So what's
right.
interesting is if we go to the IMDb of what they have called Untitled Live Action Gundam Movie, they have Sydney Sweeney on there, Jim Mickles on there, but then they have these producers are on there. What's very interesting is Yoshiyuki Tomino is on as an executive producer. You could just say, oh, well, he would be on there because they would just put that there. But then,
Yeah.
like, I looked up Gundam Wing, for instance, and nothing in Gundam Wing. Let me double check while we're on here. Yeah, had him, or the Endless Waltz, like, that was another movie, because you would think, oh, well, then maybe he's just attached to anything Gundam,
No,
you know.
in fact, famously, Tomino, I think, has said that G-Quux was the only non-Tomino directed Gundam that he's ever watched. He
Oh,
he doesn't even watch other people's
okay.
Gundam. So like,
Okay, so there would be no reason for it. Now, here's one thing, it could be that's a fragment of maybe when I'll have to check it out later, maybe, of when they first had this up. But we have other producers on here, and I looked them up. We have an executive producer, Cale Boyder. And looking at their stuff, we have a Minecraft movie, Dune Part 2, The Machine. There's a variety of stuff here, but these are all respected, movies that made
yeah.
well. These aren't schlocky, like, kind of, I don't know how to explain the caliber of
I
movie.
mean, I see Pacific Rim Uprising and I'm like, whoa,
Well, so yeah, so that's like big budget type of, or big
action mecha
spectacle
flicks,
movie.
yeah.
Exactly.
Or
Video.
what does Ben Stiller call it in Tropic Thunder? Um
I don't know.
there's like the argument that he has with Robert Downey Jr.'s characters where he's like, I'm sorry, I've done a lot more box office effects driven films than you have, and like
Oh,
it's,
I see. Yeah, yeah, more of the box office effects driven films. Yeah, that's which, it looks like nowadays you can just budget for that
yeah.
with whatever your movie is going to be. So, but anyway, so if we look at Brian Chanznowski. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly.
That's as good as I would have
And
done.
and look, there are some really cool things on here. What's interesting is there hasn't been work since 2015, but it has, and this is visual effects. He's on as a producer, but this is visual effects. I find that interesting because it's almost like, oh, did someone get brought back? He has now this more experienced position in life where he can then be a producer of something that's going to be visually effects heavy, and he's done things for Star Wars, um, Hunger Games. What's another one? The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Those have
World War
amazing.
Z, yeah, man.
Yeah, World War Z, even StarCraft 2, Heart of the Storm or Swarm. I'm sorry. That's awesome, like video game stuff. So like that, it's like this to me seems like a really like passionate person. I guess I don't know, or
Yeah,
I'm just projecting.
and it's I would say it's not uncommon for people who executive produce on films to also have vested interests in other areas of the film. Like if you think about it, there's a lot of actors who also executive produce their own films.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
for sure.
like, assistant directors that also are executive producers. So it's like the idea of having them attached as an investment part of the film, like in the producer role, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to contribute in, whether it's in the writing room, whether it's in the effects,
A
whether,
creative capacity potentially.
correct.
Yeah, which that's always cool.
I like when I see that because that means that there are people who are more invested in it, both
Yeah.
financially and passionately, as opposed to someone who's just writing checks and expecting a big payout, right?
Yeah, that really well put. I think that's in the back of my mind what I was thinking, but you actually explained it a lot better. So let's say I type this guy in Gundam, which is funny. This other thing that comes up that I was going to talk about, but I think we spoiled it. But wait, hold up, hold up. Here's something. Oh, you know what? Maybe he's been involved. Mentioned here is who worked on Kong Skull Island. Oh,
Mm,
so okay, so this guy's name has been throughout. So I wonder if it's a case of older information.
possibly.
But so what I was going to do is search and see if or no. Oh yeah, yeah, that's where we found this. So, like if there's anything, oh look, here's my Gundam. You know how it is. Oh, wait, there's something here in a different language.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's move on. Because then let's see this other producer. We got Jim Mickle who's producing. Linda
Yep.
Moran. Looks stuff that Jim Mickle's worked on. So it's someone, I think that person was called out anyway in the
Yeah.
original. And
Yeah.
then so who knows? Again, if this is fragment of older stuff, but I don't remember all that stuff being there, especially if they're adding Jim Mickle anyway in
Right.
there.
Yeah. I would expect them to kind of revise that information.
Yeah.
If some of these names have been attached to this since Jordan Vaught Roberts, then you would think that they would have dropped them when he
Yeah,
was
and I don't
replaced.
remember them being there. Yeah. Um.
But yeah,
So
it is exciting to see that Tomino would be involved with it
yes.
because obviously he's always said that he would rather do live action films, but that anime was cheaper. So
So that's a deeper thing that I feel from this. That
yeah.
if it is true that Yoshiki Tomino is kind of having a hand in it, making sure the tone, like, not that he has to, everything is his way, but
Yeah,
more of
we
a,
don't want like an armchair director that's kind of like,
yeah, but just
yeah,
collaborative.
micromanaging.
And it could be where it's more of he just did it in a like first like through the script, like okay, let's just go through the script and storyboard, and they're like okay, and then he doesn't really, they're like, oh, do you have any input in any of this,
Mhm.
which that's amazing to think.
And there's still no writer credits, right? Or is Jim Mickle writing?
He's writing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he's
which
writing,
is
directing. Wow.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's kind of it's you can read it both ways, right? Because sometimes a writer director, that means that their vision is going to be completely sort of divorced from any outside influence. but at the same time, we've seen directors that when they direct their own stuff, sometimes it's not like you kind of wish that someone had told them no at some point.
Yeah, I
At
know
least that's how I
exactly what
feel
you
about
mean.
Christopher Nolan. I'm like,
No, George Lucas with the prequels. I think it's the
I
same way.
wasn't going to go there, but you did.
No, I think it's true. I mean, but I still like it because it was
Yeah,
like extreme art expressed with money, not a problem. But
true.
no, it and so. But the other thing, as a writer director, and I think he might have proved with Sweet Tooth, I don't know, is the adaptation. It could be like, oh,
Right.
this is someone skilled in adaptation. Let's have him then adapt. And again, from what I saw from Sweet Tooth, it has a disaster scenario at the beginning. It's very grounded in feeling. It's
Right.
really pulling you in. I didn't watch throughout the rest because no offense, I just wasn't really interested in the story.
You and I are
It looked
big into
neat.
post-apocalyptic stuff anyway.
Yeah, it looked neat, and the special effects are really good. So like, and it was shot well and acted well. Like, so all of those elements from my viewing, yeah, completely
Yeah.
devoid of whatever the material or the IP is. I was able to judge it for what it was, and it was well made. So that's why I have a lot of hope for this. So let's go back to the other thing though that kind of popped up, and that's the Gundam TV show. Um, let's see. Wasn't that? I know I had it somewhere. Let me.
Too many tabs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, where did I see that? Was it under? Let me try something real quick because it will be upcoming. Yeah, just as live action movie. Anyway,
Yeah.
there
But
was.
I did see what you were talking about. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, no, I looked it up earlier. Yeah, Gundam TV series. Okay, no, that was it. I'm sorry, I was on the right one.
Okay.
Oh no, I wasn't because yeah, this doesn't have anyone
Nothing.
attached to it. So, but it says Gundam TV series.
Hmm.
Has the synopsis. So this was up before. Country of origin Ireland, production company Legendary Pictures.
I wonder if this is one of those things because anyone can make entries on IMDb technically. Like
Is it really like that? You can just
I'm pretty sure that you can suggest edits and things like that. So I think it's entirely possible that someone created this page before there was like an official Gundam page, because it's kind of like a wiki, right? I know that people will add their own credits, like if they're like, oh shoot, I wasn't credited in this movie and like I was I was an extra, they'll go in
well,
and add themselves. So
I would hope it would be a TV series, and it would be awesome if it was Zeta. And this is how it would work. We'd see the first Gundam movie, and then right after that, season 1 of Zeta.
yeah,
But
just jump straight in.
it's only like 12 episodes, so it doesn't reveal who Quattro is or something like that. And then you have like the second movie come out, and it like staggers like or I don't know. I'm just thinking something crazy, but that would be interesting to do
I
something
mean,
like
that
that.
would be fascinating if only to have different actors playing those roles. Like,
Oh
so
my.
if Benson Boone is playing Amuro in the movie, then in a Zeta Gundam TV show, you get like a completely unrelated actor that just kind of looks like him, and then you can have that where it's like, wait, like is
Well,
Quattro?
yeah. No, but I think it would be cool to have the actors still
Yeah,
because it was because of the feeling I had. And I guess this is because it's a personal weird thing. And it's why I love Zeta. When Quattro showed up, I was so riveted that that's Char.
yeah,
But why aren't they saying it? Why are they calling him something else?
and he's
Wait,
the main character.
yeah,
Like he gets introduced before anybody else.
yeah. And then sensing Amuro, right? Didn't
Yeah,
Yeah, and but it was Camille,
yeah,
right? Yeah, that whole thing, and it's like, but they don't say it; they call him something else, and it's one of those things where people say, "Oh, well, that's that," and it's like, "Well, how did you know?" It's like, "Well, it
right,
has to be." It's like, but it doesn't say it anywhere. There's no, you know what I mean? I love that for some
yeah,
reason. It's just a cool because it gets the audience talking. Think about that.
right.
That yeah, that would be neat. I love that stuff. But um okay, so TV show, yeah, we'll end on that. Should be Zeta. But anyway, we'll move on. Um, okay, so yeah, we talked about the guy with the special effects. I think that's really all we could cover with the movie. I'm curious. So from this type of potential acting, I kind of wanted to keep it on that. Actually, I'll move to our headshots. With the potential type of acting, do you see where or actors based on their type of acting? When I say that, it's we don't really know exactly. It seems like it's going to be more subtle than it's going to be caricature like. Like
Yeah.
what other? I wonder if there could be some interesting, experienced actors that are well known. Like you put a Kevin Bacon in something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's usually something that's actually pretty good to some degree, and he's usually good in it. I know Kevin Bacon is one of those actors. Um, Woody Harrelson, you know what I mean? We'll have him like,
Yeah, somebody that's just got, like, a certain amount of gravitas to them.
yeah,
Yeah, that what movie am I thinking? I was just thinking about a movie earlier today that so do you remember the, like, what was it? Is it 2001 that there was that Lost in Space movie came out that had, like, Matt LeBlanc and
yeah.
Gary
Oh,
Oldman
I
and I
love
think
that.
John Hurt? Or was
Yeah,
it William Hurt or John Hurt?
I
One of the Hurts.
one of those. Yeah, yeah,
But, thinking back to it, I was like, that movie was probably not a very good Lost in Space movie, but I thought it was a fantastic sci-fi movie,
me too.
especially the twist at the end with, like, the time travel aspect of it. I you
Yeah,
know, I loved that. But
the space
Gary
fighting at
Oldman
the beginning.
was an actor that's, like, way overclassed for a film like that, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you bring an actor like that that does have that aspect of, just a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more and I feel like a lot of those kind of older actors they're open to do that kind of role where they play like a mentor role to
yeah.
everyone. Even if you look at like the original Star Wars,
Yeah. Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness, like,
It could
you
be
know
Goldman. That's a really good example. Having him do a transformation and play, or Stellan Skarsgård,
yeah,
Daddy Zabi. What? Why am I
Degwin, yeah.
Degwin? Yes, Degwin Zabi. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be that type of role for this, right? Or that actor.
Yeah, Degwin Zabi, I think, like, having a Bright Noah that's a little bit more of, like, a seasoned actor that they would
Yeah,
probably age him up for the
yeah.
role, but I think that it would work because then he would have that little bit more pathos.
What's the guy in The Conjuring?
Oh, Patrick Wilson?
Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
I love that actor, man. He's so
I
good.
I think he should be Bright Noah. Even
I
though he's much older now, but like he has that bright Noah energy.
I could see that working,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. That and he is that type of actor that would be in this type of movie.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but it's almost like, the guys that don't mind stooping to that level.
Well, I
But
don't even see it as stooping. I see it. I guess it's like taking a IP, and then making it serious.
right,
It's so I see what you mean in that regard because it's almost like, but when you get those certain actors that can pull it off, it
right.
makes it. The thing is, I wouldn't want it to be the tone of Andor.
No, no,
That's
for sure.
too. It has. Yeah, I mean, they could go for an adventurous, even with the dark here and there, which is like that in Sweet Tooth. I mean,
It's
yeah.
true. Yeah,
So,
there is an aspect of that child I would want it to be closer to Skeleton Crew in tone than Andor, let me put it that way.
oh, still didn't watch Skeleton Crew, but you know what? I should just to
You
see
really
that.
should.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so to that end, when we're talking about, like, Sydney Sweeney playing one of the leads, I'm not that familiar with her work. I watched that movie
Yeah.
with her and, Glenn Powell, the Anyone But You. That
Yeah.
was, like, kind of a romantic comedy. I don't see that aspect of her coming out in the film. I also did get around to watching Madam Web, which I cannot
I fell asleep in that.
I cannot recommend that nobody watch that. Like,
Yeah,
enough. It's
I and it was we were watching it here, and it was just like it didn't keep me up. That's how I rate a movie.
no,
Uh,
and the amount of eye-rolly moments in it where it with, like, Adam Scott playing Ben Parker and, like, "Oh,
oh
come
wow,
help me name my" like, come help my, sister name her kid," and it's like, "Oh,
yeah,
what's the kid's name gonna be? Oh," like, it's just a little too much, a little too on the head.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I feel like they didn't give Sydney Sweeney a lot to work with there because
Well,
it's like her lines are just basically like, "You kidnapped us."
but actually, did you see the trailer for Christie, that new Sydney Sweeney movie?
N
She transforms herself to look like a
yes,
bigger or more, like buffer woman.
she's that boxer, yeah,
Yeah, and it looks great. That's showing range, or
I
that's
think it
showing
does.
playing in this world, playing in a world. Like, and it's not that it's an IP, but it's the same thing because there's a story. You're adapting it. So
Yeah.
I
She
like
was
that.
also in that, like, horror movie, right? The one that's like, where I don't know if she plays a nun or, like, a nun is, like, a demon, but she's in a
Maybe
horror
because
movie, but
I know. Do I still have?
the
No,
old IMDb
no,
filmography
yeah,
up.
no, There's been a lot, and that was the other thing too, because there's so much that she's going to be in. It was like, okay, then is this a real scoop that she's going to
But
be in
you
this?
mentioned earlier, it's like, sometimes looking at an actor's body of work isn't necessarily telling of, like, what they're capable of doing, as much as, like, what you've been doing where you'll watch interviews with that actor and see, like,
Yeah,
what their general sort of vibe is. Because
yeah,
no
uh,
one would have thought that Chris Pratt was gonna be an action star,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
man, he nails it, like, like, Terminal List, and
Right.
I know that Tomorrow War movie was kind of like it was
Yeah, but
okay,
still,
but still, I mean,
yeah.
he kinda carried that movie, so
No, yeah, he could do that well. Yeah, the Terminalist is a good example. Yeah, yeah, I'm really curious. With all this, yeah, I just can't wait to hear more. And I want to say, and I think it was in the article. Did it say something about filming in Australia next spring? If it doesn't
oh,
say that here, I must have there must have been something else that I was. Oh, yeah. Here's the other thing. Totally forgot to mention this.
yeah.
It's this article. I can't believe I forgot. This article is saying that it's based on 08 MS team. But so that's the other part of this. Since there's not really a source here,
Yeah.
but at the same time, that could be indicating a leaker. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
someone
yeah.
said, "Okay, I'll tell you this," and then it's like, "Okay, we know who actually leaked that from by giving false information." Or it could be having to do with the 1 year war. Just because when it comes to the leads, yeah, maybe that's Ina and her brother, but I don't think Shiro Amada would be Benson Boone.
Well, yeah, so they said with Sydney Sweeney playing a young woman on a mission to avenge her father, and Starkey potentially portraying the rival and love interest from the Earth Federation. So, like, Starkey being Shiro?
Yeah, and that I don't think that would be the case at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that this is one of those, like, that it was probably like the writer of this heard from a source that this person was in it and then plugged into ChatGPT, like, what Gundam story would they be
Oh,
adapting?
wow.
And then had, like, because this reads to me like somebody who's never watched Gundam, but
Yeah, that is really good. It knows what information to just plug in. That's
yeah,
really that's good that you kinda figured that out. I like that because some of it is correct. Like the whole thing about Jim Mickle, Netflix, Sweet Tooth,
yeah,
Legendary, Bandai Namco, so, I like that. I really do. Um, so, um, yeah, because if race is a big deal with casting, I don't know if it is or not at all. It's not like I think there's an issue with any of the cast so far because they seem respective of what their portrayed nationalities seem to be in animation. And what they say, kind of like was with Amuro being Canadian or from North
Right.
America or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, Gundam has always been a pretty diverse anime. Like, you got Ryu
Exactly.
Jose and like
Yeah.
even just all the
Mirai.
names. It's like you'll see Japanese, you'll see,
Yep.
sort of North American Euro names, then you'll also see like Hispanic. And I think that there was like a whole well, so that doesn't make sense then, because like if you think about certain nationalities that become associated with either Federation or Xeon, you know, Gaia, Ortega, and Mash are supposedly like Hispanic. And so there was almost like this, you know, German and Hispanic become Xeon, and like Japanese and
Oh,
European are
Earth Fit.
like Anglo, I should say, are
Yeah.
Earth Federation. But I think Ryu Jose is a kind of breaks the rule a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I never really thought about that. That's a new video you're gonna have to put together, actually. You're gonna have to talk about race and I don't
Race in
know.
Gundam. Yeah, well, because it's funny in the original series how they have like the whole Zeonic accent,
Yeah.
which they say Zeonic accent, but you don't hear it, and so it's interesting. Like, what does a Zeonic
Yeah.
accent sound like?
And they do that in there's other references to accents throughout the series. Even in War in the Pocket.
Mm,
What I think in War in the Pocket, there's Australian
right.
accent reference. Yeah, so that's interesting how they do that, which is pretty cool and consistent.
There's a bit of that like Inglorious Bastards, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, okay. So here's something else I want to share. I'm gonna go back to the screen share. So I was skimming Kakarot's news video, and it was showing a game, SD capsule game that existed before and was shut down on Steam, but then it got changed to Star Battle, and it says Star Battle is a fast third-person shooter where you pilot super deformed mobile suits in 4v4, 8v8 battles, boost, slash, and shoot across land and space maps, collect and customize 400 plus iconic suits, and rise through the rank or through ranked ladders based on pure skill. And then even in the description, it says third person shooter that drops you straight into the cockpit of the most iconic mobile suits in the Gundam universe, reimagined in super deformed style. Anyway, that's pretty crazy. And yeah, I think there's nothing on the video.
It's like,
So
why even make a video if it's just going to be like a silhouette?
well, because I think it originally had a video with the Gundam stuff in it. So I don't know
Gotcha.
what happened then. Was it that this was posted and immediately Bandai was like, hey, no, and then they're like, okay, and then they just changed it?
Dude,
Or
this reeks of the same thing that happened with that board game Kickstarter, Gunpla Top. Um, so there was a Kickstarter for a board game called Gunpla Top, where it was like, okay, you can use your Gunpla to play in like skirmish battles, and you know, in the Kickstarter campaign description, it was like, hey guys, trust us, we are going to talk to Bandai and we're going to get the licensing rights to use Gundam and all this stuff. And it's
oh
like
yeah, I
6 months
remember seeing
later, they changed the name to Mecha Top, like.
yeah. Wow. They
Which
should
even as far as like IP ripoffs, can we talk about how the logo for Star Battle is like Starfleet?
yeah,
It's
that's
the Star
funny.
Trek
That's
logo.
I didn't there was something there and it didn't click, but you were completely correct. Yeah, and even clicking on the publisher and developer, it's the only thing there.
Yeah,
It even says free. So that's interesting. And I guess it might be a live service type game. But anyway, it could be that this um could be someone that maybe like okay, so if it's like source code that they were packaging, obviously they can't do that. But I
right.
wonder if it was someone was building it on their own and then they had all Gundam skins and they're like, "Oh, you can't have the Gundam skins." Okay, we'll have to wait. But this then signaled. It's almost like a marketing move so that people are talking about, oh, this is that Gundam game from before that got shut down and a new company's making a game that plays like it.
That's one way to That's one way to sell it
unless
for sure.
that's maybe proves that people are playing games for the IP. Like, let's say it comes out and no one really cares, no one really plays it, and it's like, oh, it doesn't actually have the Gundam IP. Because
Right.
sometimes I ask myself as I'm playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance and grinding,
And
do I
crying.
really like this? No, no,
Um,
I'm joking. But yeah, um,
and you know what? What probably scared them off was like the Pal World lawsuit and the fact that Nintendo, like,
yeah, and at the same time, Sony's going through a lawsuit with Tencent
oh man,
over that game that looks like Horizon. It's like a
right,
copy. And what's interesting is Tencent's willing to fight back, and it's because they say they don't want Sony gatekeeping certain types of games. And what's interesting about the Nintendo patent is Nintendo aims to gatekeep genres or certain
right.
types of games. So it's interesting that these are actual battles that are occurring with the big major companies. And I'm not sure how much of it is a sign of the economy and more of, okay, how do we distribute money? Well, let's get into some litigation.
That
Let's get
sounds
some,
like a much more profitable
yeah,
avenue
yeah,
than actual game development.
right.
Well, and for my opinion on it, it's like you should not be allowed to patent game mechanics. Like you can patent the code, you can patent, but I mean the idea that like patent abuse has gotten so rampant lately when it comes to some of this stuff. Like for instance, in the 3D printing world, for FDM printing, somebody patented honeycomb printing, which is so for instance, when you're printing on an FDM printer, every layer prints on top of each other in an even layer, right?
Mhm.
And so it's not as stable, it's not as secure because what can happen is obviously if you put pressure on that print, it can separate. And so somebody thought, hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if every layer we have an offset so that, like, say you have two sort of like lines of filament, and then on the next layer, you do one line in between them. And then on the next layer, you put two lines over
Yeah,
it. And so you create this honeycomb pattern that's a lot more structurally stable.
right.
It doesn't even matter how they do it because the thing is somebody patented the idea of doing it. They couldn't do it themselves. They couldn't create the slicer software. They couldn't create the mechanism by which it works. They just patented it to make sure that nobody else could do it,
And
which
that's interesting because it's like this interesting thing, like it's something that's functional, and helpful, but like, yeah, it's very interesting.
see, I'm gonna roll the dice on patenting the idea of a Dyson sphere so that one day my grandchildren's grandchildren, when they actually do build a sphere that can harvest the power of the sun, my grandchildren's grandchildren will be like, nope, my great grandfather patented that idea. If you want to build that sun harvesting device, then you need to pay the Baylesses, you know, after inflation, what's the price going to be? Like infinity bajillion dollars? Like
Dude, I don't know, but you don't want to like spark some sort of like, revolt and then start getting different space colonies involved. Hey, that would be an awesome story to write. Actually, I think you just came up with the plot for a story.
yeah, the patent wars of the future.
Yeah. Based on like a lineage. Like, kids, let me tell you a story about the future. Generations and generations from now. You never hear stories like that's impossible.
Right.
You could tell it. A movie might as well do that. um, no, that's where are we getting to with this? But no, anyway, that was a lot of fun today. I really liked speculating about the Gundam movie. Again, really the only thing confirmed is Jim Mickle, Sydney Sweeney, but it's fun to look at the rumors of the different actors. Benson Boone, Drew Starkey, right? Starkey. And then the producers on there. Really fun to speculate.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think too. Like any of the video comments, or even the podcast, or wherever I think it's cool if people just start listing like even like actors that you think could play. It's just fun to hear what ideas people have. And
Absolutely.
then yeah, I think that's it. Steven, anything else to add? Or are we done?
No, this was a great one.
Yeah, this was all right. All have a good weekend. We'll talk later, and yeah, see you.